Hello students, in today's video lecture we are going to have some basic insight of the homogeneous and heterogeneous catalysis. There are many organometallic compounds and coordinate compounds which are used as homogeneous catalyst for catalyzing various organic synthesis. So first of all, we will discuss what is homogeneous catalysis. In this type of catalysis, all the reactants and the catalyst, they are in the same phase. Remember one thing, we are not looking at the products. Okay, we have to look only at the reactants and catalyst. A catalyst combines with the reactant or substrate to form transition states which finally produce the reaction products and regenerate the catalyst back. As far as the homogeneous catalysis is concerned, homogeneous catalysts are soluble in a reaction mixture and can function at low temperature and pressure and have very good selectivity for the products, but they are also associated with some disadvantages. The main disadvantage is that it is very difficult to separate products and the catalyst from the reaction mixture because of that homogeneity. So there are few examples for homogeneous catalysis. So remember one thing, if catalyst is present in the same phase as that of the reactants, it is called homogeneous catalyst, and the type of catalysis is known as homogeneous catalysis. So we have one example like this: SO2 plus O2 in the presence of NO, nitric oxide, gaseous state. SO2 and O2, they are also present in gaseous state. So we have reactants and catalyst in same phase. So this is a type of homogeneous catalysis. Another example is 2 moles of CO plus O2, they will result in the formation of CO2. Again the catalyst is nitric oxide. Reactants, they all are in gaseous state. So reactants and catalyst, they are in same phase. We can also have the hydrolysis of ethyl acetate. So this is ethyl acetate, and if it is hydrolyzed with water in the presence of aqueous HCl as catalyst, so water is in liquid state, this is in aqueous solution form, we will get acetic acid plus ethanol. So this is hydrolysis of esters, and in this case the ester used is ethyl acetate. In addition, all the biochemical reactions catalyzed by enzymes are examples of homogeneous catalysis. Means the biochemical reactions occurring in human beings and plants which are catalyzed by enzymes. Enzymes are also called biocatalysts. All these reactions are examples of homogeneous catalysis. As far as the theory or mechanism of homogeneous catalysis is concerned, we have that there is formation of an intermediate. So reactants, they reacts, any one of the reactant, it reacts with catalyst to form an intermediate compound or complex, which is also called transition state. This is the step number 1. In step number 2, the transition state or intermediate complex reacts with another reactant to form products giving back the catalyst, or transition state decomposes to release products and catalyst. So this is the very basic type of mechanism for homogeneous catalysis. Means in the initial step any one of the reactant can react with catalyst to form an intermediate complex or transition state. In the second step, this transition state reacts with another reactant to form product, releasing back the catalyst, or this transition state can also undergo decomposition to give products and catalyst. So it is a two-step mechanism in case of homogeneous catalysis. Now the next is heterogeneous catalysis. So in this type of catalysis, if a catalyst is present in a different phase as that of the reactants, it is called heterogeneous catalysis. So reactants and catalyst, they are not in same phase. This is very important. We are not going to consider the nature or phase of the products. We will just look at the phase of reactants and catalyst. If the reactants and catalyst are not in same phase, they have different phases, then it is called heterogeneous catalysis. So very well known example for this heterogeneous type of catalysis is formation of ammonia by Haber's process. So we will get ammonia again in gaseous state, nitrogen and hydrogen. 1 mole of nitrogen will react with 3 moles of hydrogen to form 2 moles of ammonia. So reactants in this case, they are gases, and the catalyst is used as iron, which is solid, and molybdenum is used as promoter. So these are solid in nature. So we have different phases for catalyst and reactants. That's why it is a type of heterogeneous catalysis. There are few more examples. CO plus H2. So H2 and carbon monoxide, they are present in same phase, they are reactants, and if we use copper solid in the presence of zinc oxide, which is also solid, and chromium oxide Cr2O3, which is also solid. So this is the catalytic section. All the catalysts, they are in the same phase, we will get ethanol. So you can now clearly see that the phase of reactants is different from that of the catalyst. So this is a type of heterogeneous catalysis. As far as the mechanism is concerned, in heterogeneous catalysis, let us consider this is the surface of the catalyst. Initially the reactants molecule, this is the reactant, this will come to the surface of the catalyst, and this process is then called diffusion of the reactants to the surface of catalyst. Because we know that what is diffusion? Diffusion is the movement of molecules or species from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration. So initially on the surface of the catalyst there is no reactant, and if we supply some reactants will move from their higher concentration to lower concentration, means toward the surface of the catalyst. In the next step, the reactant molecules are adsorbed on the surface of the catalyst. So second step is adsorption of reactants on the surface of catalyst, and this adsorption is an exothermic process and releases energy, and that released energy is used to bring about a chemical reaction or dissociation of the bonds present between the reactant molecules. So third step is chemical reaction of the reactants, and where again on the surface of catalyst and formation of products on the surface of catalyst. So here we have the products. Now A and B are products. This A and B was a reactant and finally it is being converted into A and B. So these are products and AB, they were reactants. In the next step, in the fourth step, what happens? These products which are formed on the surface of the catalyst, they are dissolved. Desorption occurs. So there is desorption of the products. So this will again make the surface of the catalyst available for the adsorption and simultaneous reaction of the new reactant molecules. After the desorption, these product molecules are diffused away from the surface of the catalyst. So diffusion of the products from the surface of catalyst. So heterogeneous catalysis involves 5 steps. The first step is diffusion of the reactants to the surface of the catalyst. The second step is the adsorption of the reactant molecules on the surface of the catalyst. The third step is the chemical reaction which was resulted due to the heat released because of adsorption and formation of products. In the fourth step, the product formed on the surface of a catalyst are dissolved, and then the final step and fifth step, these products are diffused away from the surface of the catalyst. So because of this case, this heterogeneous catalysis is also known as surface catalysis, and it is associated with some advantages, like it is very easy to separate the products, catalyst and reactants from the reaction mixture because of different phases. This type of catalysis is very important as far as the industrial processes are concerned. However, there are some disadvantages of heterogeneous catalysis. The main are they need very high temperature and very high pressure for better yield of the products. We know that a catalyst is a substance which enhances the rate of a chemical reaction. But how it is possible and how does it happen? What happens in the presence of a catalyst to the reaction coordinates? We know that to bring about a chemical reaction, the reactants must cross this transition state. Let the total energy required to cross this transition state is threshold energy, ET. ET is called threshold energy, and out of this threshold energy, this amount of energy is already with the reactants. So this is the energy of the reactants. Which they have initially. Now what is the extra amount of energy required to reach that threshold energy value? That is called activation energy. So it is clear that if large amount of energy is required, means activation energy is high, the rate will be slow, because large energy means we need more energy to cross that transition state and convert the reactants into products. Hence, greater the activation energy, slower is the rate of reaction. So we need to decrease this activation energy, and what the catalyst does is the same thing. In the presence of catalyst, the transition state is lowered, and because of this, the activation energy required is also decreased. So if EA is the activation energy, for uncatalyzed reaction, and EA dash is the activation energy for catalyzed reaction, then activation energy for uncatalyzed reaction is greater than the activation energy for catalyzed reaction. So in the presence of catalyst, the reaction follows a path of lower activation energy, and since activation energy is decreased, the rate of reaction is increased. So hence a catalyst lowers the activation energy and hence enhances the rate of the reaction. Now next is the comparative analysis of homogeneous and heterogeneous catalysis. So we now know that in homogeneous catalysis, the reactants and the catalyst, they are very well soluble in the reaction mixture, whereas in case of heterogeneous catalysis, catalyst is not soluble in the reaction mixture. Homogeneous catalysis require low temperature, it is generally less than 250 degrees centigrade, whereas in heterogeneous catalysis high temperature is required, which is generally more than 250 degrees C. The next point is homogeneous catalysis can be carried out at very low pressure, whereas in case of heterogeneous catalysis high pressure is required. In case of homogeneous catalysis, the product formed are highly selective in nature, means the catalyst is highly selective in nature and guide the reactants to form a particular type of products, whereas in case of heterogeneous catalysis this selectivity is very low. Since all the reactants and catalysts, they are in same phase, the yield of the products is very high, and because of different phases of reactants and catalysts, in case of heterogeneous catalysis the yield is low. Reaction mechanism is well understood for homogeneous catalysis, but still we have some doubts for reaction mechanism in case of heterogeneous catalysis. Products cannot be separated in case of homogeneous catalysis because of same phase, they are very well soluble in reaction mixture. It's very difficult to separate them from the reaction mixture, whereas in case of heterogeneous catalysis the separation of the products is very easy. Similar to the products, catalyst, they can also not be well separated in case of homogeneous catalysis, but in case of heterogeneous catalysis their separation is very easy. The most important point, homogeneous catalysis is very less economic, whereas heterogeneous catalysis is more economic. Hence as we told to you earlier that heterogeneous catalysis is more of industrial use as compared to homogeneous catalysis. So in industries it is generally heterogeneous catalysis which is preferred over homogeneous catalysis, because it makes the products and catalyst to be separated very easy. So this was some basic introduction for homogeneous and heterogeneous catalysis. Okay, thank you.